Hey, it's Matt, your average gamer, and for this video, we're going to be going over the Starline Katana sword. I'm going to do a little bit of showcase for this weapon. It made it on a quick list on my main channel, but this is a weapon worth highlighting and talking about because it is really cool to use. It might even end up having a place in the meta for PvP. I'm actually fairly confident it will, and honestly, I'm not sure yet if they're going to do anything with the weapons in the DLC, but I do believe that they're going to buff some of them as well. This one I'm not sure about because it's kind of powerful to begin with, but if it ends up with a buff, this is going to be one of the best weapons in the entire game because it's already pretty great right now. As you can see, the Ash of War on this is incredible. It has several different attacks. It can build up on successive hits, which is awesome, and stacks damage. And the final hit on the Ash of War can do massive damage on the final strike. Also, you're probably wondering why I was randomly talking about buffing the weapons in DLC. It's because the base game weapons for the most part so far are still better even with the recent nerfs. And there's something to note here to talk about based on the recent Steam reviews. People are saying the game's too challenging, and for me I find it challenging but the right balance. At least I'm on New Game. On New Game plus 7 or higher scaling, it can be incredibly difficult, no doubt about it. But there is some things I want to say, and I hope people see this video so they can understand what I'm trying to say. It's not meant to be rushed through. You're not meant to rush through the DLC really fast. You have to upgrade with the fragments along the way to continue to become powerful. If you don't have the time to explore or look for the fragments, of course there's guides online and everything now, I would recommend, honestly, just taking your time with it, going slow. Whatever time you have, make the best of exploring because that's what it's meant to be for, to explore, build up, power up along the way, and then take on bosses. By the way, I had to stick that in because I'm getting so many comments of people having difficulty and then the recent reviews that are mixed of people saying the game's too challenging. It's really not meant to be rushed. We're meant to take our time, power up along the way, and get stronger. Now back to the Starline sword, probably the coolest katana in the game, at least currently. So the Katana's Ash of War is basically split between intelligence and dexterity. Despite the fact that dexterity gets a B and intelligence gets a D, it's very much split on the Ash of War. However, the physical part hits, so it does build up on successive attacks and has a lot of damage potential. The final strike, if you can get to it, is the part that does the most damage. I've had it do 4,000 damage, pretty substantial amount of damage at rune level 150. I want to show one thing off real quick. It does have a little bit of low poise on the Ash. I'm at 61 poise currently, so well over the first threshold, and you can get knocked out of its Ash of War. It's just something worth mentioning here is that the Ash of War doesn't have like infinite poise or anything, or really high poise. The poise is just decent on the Ash of War. Now, if you're going to use something like maybe the Bull Goat set when you're going through the entire thing, which I'm sure you're going to see in PvP at some point, I imagine it's going to be a lot harder to knock you out of it. But I just wanted to mention that real quick in the spirit of transparency, that the Ash of War is definitely something that with a poke or the right hit, you can get knocked out of. And you want to be able to pull off the entire thing because, once again, that final strike, you're going to get a lot of magic damage on that last hit, a lot of physical damage too. It truly is the best part of the Ash of War. And for this build, we're going to show you the buffs first. You want to go with the longest duration stuff first. So we're going to drink our tier. That has the Faith tier in it, by the way, to get us to 25 Faith. Then we're going to use Golden Vow for a buff of 15% attack and defense. Then Flame Grant Me Strength for 20% more physical damage. Then fill up your FP. Then we have to show off one hell of an Ash of War. It really is so cool. Look at that last strike, that last slam down. The animation is awesome. We have the Starline sword plus 10, of course. And then we have any seal for buffs. We hit 61 poise. We're past 51. Shard of Alexander, Wing Sword Insignia, Magic Scorpion Charm, Listens Prosthesis, Thorny tier, and Faith tier. And then jumping into the stats for the Starline sword, one of the coolest weapons in the game, we have 60 Vigor, 22 Mind, 25 Endurance, 14 Strength. We have 45 Dexterity and 45 Intelligence, so it even split there. We have 25 Faith with the Faith tier. And then, of course, we're using Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength. It's worth noting that if you're going with the regular weapon, it's going to lean more towards Dex. But if you're using the Ash of War, you really want to split these stats because it's a lot of magic damage and more intelligence scaling. And where to get the Starline sword? Well, you're going to go to Cerulean Coast right here once you get down here. By the way, to get down here, I'm going to show you on the map. It's this indented area right here that you're going to have to go through that brings you all the way down to the beach. And then once you're down there, you're going to make your way west. And then when you make your way west, you're going to go right there on the map. There's going to be a boss that drops the Starline sword. Thanks for watching this one. I appreciate everybody. Definitely be sure to sub to this channel as well as my main channel, Your Average Gamer. Don't forget to sub to that channel too. There's a lot of great builds there. I've done a couple list videos so far and covered several of the early game weapons. At least the ones early in DLC. I've been trying to keep out DLC spoilers, bosses and such, at least for the first few days it's out, because I know some people are just getting to the DLC now, and a lot of us are taking our time. Thanks for watching this one, and I hope everybody has a fantastic day.